Hello everyone, and real quick I wanted to show you how to set up your papers for MLA format. All of our assignments for the most part are going to be, of course, using MLA format. For those of you who just got out of Freshman English 1, of course, I'm sure you're familiar with this. For those of you that it might have been a while, you might not even remember what MLA format is. So real quick, I'm just going to go a brief overview, MLA format, and how to set that up on your Word, on Microsoft Word. So what you will want to do for MLA format, of course, first thing you do, you want to set up the information up here at the top in a certain way. First, you're going to have your student name. So, of course, whatever your name is, first and last name, and then the instructor name, of course, underneath. And then right underneath that, you're going to go ahead and put the actual course number for the course. You can do English 2 as well if you like, but go ahead and have the actual course number for the course. Then, of course, you'll want to have the date right underneath. I'm doing this on May 27th, so you'll want to have the date that you'll want to have is whenever the actual assignment is due. And of course, you do not want any extra space in any of your paragraphs, and any extra space once you in between any of the selections here, because once you press enter, once you first open your Word document, it might, once you press enter, it might put some extra space in there between sections, in between paragraphs, and we do not want that. So for example, right now it's set up how it needs to be, but sometimes it might add an extra space. A lot of times it'll be already set up that way. So it looks, as we can see, it looks quite a bit different. We don't want this at all. We want it to look really nice, really professional. So of course we want to eliminate that extra space. So what we want to do when we first bring up our document, or if we're noticing that it's doing this once we actually start writing out our document, so we'll go back and highlight this stuff. And if you go up here to the top, line and paragraph spacing, of course we want all our assignments for English 2 for MLA format, it's all going to be double spaced. We don't want single spaced or anything like that. All our assignments are going to be double spaced. 2.0 up here, got a nice check mark here to show that. So again, to remove that extra space, we want to click here, remove space before paragraph, and remove space after paragraph. That looks a lot better. We don't want any extra space. So if you're seeing extra space, if something doesn't look right, it should all be double spaced, no extra space. When you click enter, again, if it's set up with that extra space, once you press enter, it's going to put a lot of extra space. We don't want that. So again, remove space if it doesn't look right. It should all look like that. Double spaced all the way through. No extra space in between paragraphs or anything like that. And of course for MLA as well, we got our information up here, student name, teacher name, class name, and the date. And after we do that, we press enter, of course. And we always start with the title. You always want your title centered. So again, after you press enter, after your date, it'll take you to left justified. You want to, of course, center your title. So instead of a line left right here, everything will be aligned left. For your title, you'll want to center your title. So you'll just go over one over, center. And again, this is pretty basic stuff, but those of you that it might have been a while since you've worked with scholarly papers, writing an academic paper, we want to make sure that it's all set up just the way we want it, professionally with MLA. And after you press enter, after you create whatever title you want to, you press enter, you'll want to make sure that you go back, because it's going to not look right if you keep it centered. So once you press enter after your title, go back up here in the paragraph section and align left, and it looks just how we want it. How you want your paragraph is going to be aligned left, and it should, for the most part, it should tab it. So you want to, of course, have it indented, the first 5 spaces, the first sentence of your paragraph. It should do that automatically. If not, of course, you can, if it looks like that, you can always tab it yourself, and that should take care of the problem. But I believe we can also alignments. We have left up here. We'll be able to do that over here. If we go to tabs, default tab stops, of course, 0.5, and we can access that all up here as well. And we go up to the paragraph section up here where we aligned it and centered it, where we remove that extra space if we had any. We go to line options right there and go down to tabs. We're looking, of course, default tab stops 0.5. All right, and we of course need one more thing for MLA. We need to have a page number up at the top. So to do this, we'll actually leave the home page. We're on the home page right now, of course, for Word. We want to go to Insert. That'll take just a second to come up. There we go. And we're actually going to go ahead, how I always have done it, which I think is the easiest way. We go over to header and footer, and we'll go to we have header, footer, page number. We're going to go to the bottom selection right here, page number. Click on page number, and we have several options that come up. We're going to go ahead and go to the top of the page because that's where we want it for MLA. It's going to be top of the page. It'll take a second for it to come up, and we want it on the right-hand side. So we'll go ahead and go to plain number 3, and we see the number over there. Click that, and it'll bring the number up just like that. For MLA, we want our last name on each page. So we'll put towel and then 1. 1 will already be there. We'll actually want to, before we exit out, we of course have the closer. We have the close header and footer right up there. Before we exit out, though, we want it to look like the rest of our essay here, the page number and your last name. So go back and highlight that. Go back up here. Times New Roman, size 12. And that's going to give us where it's going to look just like the rest of your essay. And to get out of it now, we already it already left where we were at up here, so we can just click back, double click back in the text, and we look here, towel 1, it's going to apply that to all of our pages, last name and the page number. And of course, like I said, Times New Roman, size 12 font for to make it look like the rest of your essay. That's how your essay, all of your essays for all of our assignments for MLA assignments for the course need to be Times New Roman size 12 font. And we can do that, of course, up here. Font, it's probably not going to, it might not be set up for Times New Roman size 12. In most cases, probably not. When you first open a new Word document, you can go up here to where it says font. I believe it's probably going to be in Calibri when we first bring it up, body. So What we'll want to do, of course, now we did that, it does not look like the rest of the font size, the font type. So what we want to do, again, Times New Roman. We're using Times New Roman, so of course it's up here at the top. But when you first open the document, it probably is not going to be like that. So we'll just go down, and it'll be in alphabetical order. Look for Times New Roman. It's going to be way down at the bottom, of course. There we go, Times New Roman. We don't want it, of course, 8 small size or anything like that. We want it all to look the same, 12, and there we go. That is how we set up our essays, our papers for MLA. All of our major assignments, as well, our 2 major assignments, as well as all our weekly assignments are going to be in MLA. So we need to make sure that you set it up just like that. And one more thing before we go. If we go down, of course, it looks all good. No extra spaces. All size 12 Times New Roman font. And of course, the very last page for our assignments is going to be the works cited page, where we include the publication information for all the sources that we used in our essay. To set up your works cited page, of course, when you first get there, it's going to be aligned left justified, so you want to center works cited. That's going to be the title of your works cited page, of course. And if you look, the works cited entries are set up a little different. It's like in reverse order. Instead of the first line tabbed, all the other lines are tabbed. How we do that, of course, we go up here to that ever popular line and paragraph spacing section again. We've used it a few times already. Click that. We go back to line spacing options. And what we want to do is apply what's called the hanging indent. So we go, after we go there, we go to indentation. And we go to special. We have already applied that hanging indent